turn your attention to 2012. Did the FBI ever become involved in the investigation of a bomb threat that was called in to the Domestic Relations Court in Cuyahoga County on July 10th, 2012?
We were not involved at that time.
Right. Did it ever become involved?
Yes.
Okay. Just roughly tell us how FBI became involved with that.
So when I was assigned to the Violent Crime Squad, one of the things that I did was cell phone analysis, call detail record analysis for the squad. And at some point, my supervisor came to me and asked me to go to a meeting at the county on a bomb threat to see if I could do cell phone analysis for them on the bomb threat, which I did. And that was March of 2014, I believe. I don't remember the exact date.
When you say cell phone analysis, let's be precise. Did you actually have the phone that was used to make those calls?
No.
So what analysis did you do?
That'd be the call detail records.
The records.
So, you know, from the phone company, the to, the from, the duration. At that time, it included cell tower information and the azimuth, meaning the direction of the tower.
Okay. Did there ever come a time when, well, let me put it this way. Did you work with any other law enforcement agencies in that investigation?
Yeah, so the county sheriff was the lead on that. At the first meeting I went to, I think there were other counties there. Okay. Maybe Lorain and Cuyahoga, so law enforcement from those counties too.
Right. Was it eventually learned that that was the third bomb threat made by that number in 2012?
I don't know if I can say about that number, but yes, that they believe those three were tied together, yes.
The third date on which bomb threats were made?
Correct.
Okay. In January of 2012, there was a bomb threat made in Cuyahoga County. May of 2012, there was one made in Lake County. And then July of 2012, the 10th, Cuyahoga County. Is that fair to say?
I'm not sure on the dates, but I'm sure on the Cleveland one because that was the only one we had cell phone call detail records for. The other two were too old to get the data that we needed to do the analysis that I was doing.
And were you working with the sheriffs to obtain those call detail records?
Yes.
And were the sheriffs working with the Cuyahoga County Prosecutor's Office to obtain legal process to send to Verizon to obtain those records?
Yes.
Did it ever come to your attention that certain paperwork was sent to the target of that investigation inadvertently?
I did learn that at some point, yes.
Okay, all right. So let me, now, let's talk about, did that threat come from someone who worked at the Stafford Law Company?
Of the Cuyahoga County case?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Did you interview anyone who worked at Stafford Law as part of that investigation?
Yes, in April of 2014, I approached, excuse me, one of the attorneys from that law firm and interviewed them.
Okay. So, the search happened on April 22nd of 14. Does that sound right?
It does.
So, let's talk about the day before. Who did you go talk to the day before, on the 21st of April, 2014?
It was the evening before, but it was Ann Fantelli.
Okay. I don't need to know what she said. Okay? Where did the interview take place?
At her home.
And when you were leaving, did you give her any advice?
I did.
What did you say to her?
She had asked me what she should say to the other attorneys. I instructed her, I told her she should not talk to Greg Moore because he was the suspect in the case. I told her that she should tell Joe and Vince Stafford that I had been there to talk to her and that I would be interested in talking to them, and that rather than muddying up their testimony with what she had told me, that she should just, I gave her a card with my number and I believe some prosecutors' numbers to call so we could interview those attorneys.
Okay. Now, were you working with someone from the sheriff's office named Paul Sobrin?
Yes, he was the lead investigator on the bomb threats.
All right. Prior to this, in April, were both of you speaking with a confidential informant who worked at Stafford Law?
When you say speaking,
That's not communicating.
yes,
Okay.
yes. He was the lead on that. He was the one who had met her initially. I had a little bit of contact with her prior to that, before interviewing Ms. Fantelli.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now let's get to the next day, April 22nd of 14. You mentioned the term exigency earlier. Did there come a time where there was exigency to search the Stafford Law Office on April 22nd, 2014?
Yes.
Explain that to us.
I was contacted sometime in the early afternoon by Detective Silbrick, who told me that he had been talking to the person inside the law firm, and that there were some things going on in terms of what sounded like destruction of evidence or things of that nature. Again, he was the lead in talking to her. Eventually, I did talk to her and kind of got her rundown of what was happening in the firm that day. Detective Silbrick took the lead with her in terms of all the details.
Okay. Let me ask it this way. Was she texting with Detective Silbrick?
Yes.
And did those communications convey that something was happening inside that firm that day?
Yes, they did.
Shredding of documents?
Correct.
The looking at computers?
Correct.
And when you and Detective Silbrick learned these things, what did you guys do?
Well, we made a decision to interrupt what was going on, and he was going to write, by he I mean Detective Silbrick was going to write a search warrant for the law firm.
Okay. And when you say interrupt what was going on, did you want to stop the shredding of documents?
Yes.
Okay. Did you go there to do that?
Yes.
All right. So let's talk about that. Did you go there by yourself or with others?
No, as I mentioned, I actually spoke to the person who worked in the law firm, got a few details myself. The sheriff's office brought some people. I brought some people with me from the FBI, from the violent crime squad, which included sheriff's deputies. And I don't remember all the people that I took with me, but on that squad we had sheriff's deputies, Cleveland police officers, I believe probation, but I took a few people with me from my office also.
Okay. And what was the goal when you were walking in there?
To stop whatever they were doing while the warrant was being written.
Okay. And is that permissible under the Fourth Amendment to go in and stop the destruction of evidence?
Objection. It's just for the court to determine.
I'm sorry, did you?
I overruled it, sorry. Overruled.
Yes, I believe that you don't have to have the warrant right away. You can stop the destruction of evidence and then get your warrant.
Okay. So is that what you did?
Yes.
Did you search anything when you went into the office at that time before Detective Silbrick got the warrant?
No, we did not.
Okay. Tell us how you stopped the destruction of evidence.
Well, we all entered and basically just got everybody away from their computer, got them away from their desk or whatever. Again, the attorneys were there. All four attorneys were there, both Staffords, Ms. Fantelli, Mr. Moore, and then there was some office staff there also. And so that was generally the plan, just to get them away from, computers where they could delete things, away from their desks or whatever the shredder was, that kind of thing, just to get them away from those things. While then Detective Silbrick left to write the warrant.
All right. Did you, at that time, search anyone's office, open drawers and open computers and look through things?
No, we did not,
And why not?
because we didn't have the warrant.
Is that kind of search 101? Don't
Yeah.
search without a warrant?
I mean, in this scenario, until I have the items to be searched for, I don't know what the search would even look like, right?
Okay.
So until the warrant's written and all the specifics are out, right, we were not going to search.
All right.
And especially, I should mention, like the computers, I had worked cyber almost my entire career. My first cyber case was like in 1997. We're not going to touch the computers because that immediately then taints the evidence in the computer when you turn it on or download something or change the access to by date, that kind of thing.
Right. And actually, when it comes to, let's now, so you testified, you stopped the shredding, you stopped everything, and you did not search. Did Detective Soprick eventually come with the warrant?
He did.
Okay. So, did you remain in that position of not searching until Detective Soprick brought the warrant?
That's correct.
Were you in the office that entire time? When you entered, stopped the shredding, and until Detective Soprick came?
I was there until we finished the search, so it would have been roughly 3 p.m. we entered, I believe, and left early the next morning.
Okay.
What that date is, I'm sorry, the early morning of the 23rd, I think.
So you were there that whole time?
Yes,
So that would include the time when you entered to stop the destruction of evidence until Detective Soprick brought that warrant.
yes,
During that time frame, can you say that you and no one else on your team searched anything?
yes.
Okay.
And I was basically in charge of the scene at that point. I'm certain no one was searching for anything. But most of the officers that were there didn't even know why we were there, right?
Right.
Detective Soprick and I were the ones who were the leads on that case, so.
Okay. And then when Soprick came, what happened next?
Then we executed the search.
All right. And let me show you some things. We'll start with States 25. May I approach witness?
Yes.
All right. Let me hand you States 25. And tell me if you recognize that.
Yeah, it's the inventory sheet from the results of the search that day at the law office.
Okay. And do you see your name on there anywhere?
Yeah, in this packet, the pages appear to be a little bit out of order, but I'm the witness to when we were documenting what items we had seized.
Okay. And does it kind of give a line description what was found and who found it?
Correct.
Okay. Are you on there as anyone who found anything?
I'm on the second page. I think that's the only one.
Here's a copy for you. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, there's two entries for me on the second page.
All right. And whose office was that one?
I'm sorry. Line item 4 was from Vince Stafford's office, and line item 6 is from Joe Stafford's office.
And would you, what's the description on line item 4?
It's a motion for in-camera inspection. I think that was related to cell phone records to Judge McDonald.
Okay. You've got States 23. And so you've got, it says the motion, does it also say also Greg Moore's cell phone records?
I'm sorry, it does. It goes into the location item found column, but yes.
Okay. I'm going to hand you States 23. And tell me if you recognize what that is.
Yeah, this is the actual motion that I'm referencing from line item 4, which was an order to Verizon related to Greg Moore's phone records.
Is that the thing you found on Vince Stafford's desk?
Yes.
All right. So you got the motion for in-camera inspection. I'd like you to flip to, are you familiar with something called a certificate of service that's put on motions that are filed in courts?
Yes.
All right. Is there a certificate of service on that one?
There is. It's on the third page of State's Exhibit 23.
Could you read that to us?
A true copy of the foregoing State's motion for an in-camera inspection of cell phone records has been mailed this 27th day of December 2012 to Greg Moore, care of Stafford and Stafford, 55 Erie View Plaza, 5th floor, Cleveland, Ohio, 44114.
Okay. Now I'd like you to flip to the page in front of that one. And we don't need to have this read out in court, but does that describe a search of Greg Moore's cell phone records related to the July 10th, 2012 bomb threat made at the Domestic Relations Court?
Yes, it does.
First page, is there a caption, State versus Greg Moore?
Correct.
Okay. As a prosecutor, as an FBI agent, as someone in law enforcement, was Greg Moore the target in this investigation?
Yes.
Is this a document you would ever want the target of this investigation to have?
No.
But it was sent to him, right?
Well, if I rely on the certificate of service, yes.
It says it was sent to him.
Yes.
And you found that on Vince Stafford's desk
That's correct.
on the day when stuff's being shredded at Stafford Law?
Yes.
Okay. I'd like you to turn to, is there a page talking about what was found in Gregory J. Moore's office?
Yes, that's page 3 of State Exhibit 25.
Okay. Line 3. Yeah. Please give us a description on line 3.
Line 3 says Verizon wireless receipt and post-it note, or plus post-it note, mobile broadband service for laptops. I'm having a little difficulty reading it, but I believe it's JOS plus VAS.
All right. I'm going to hand you what's been labeled State's Exhibit 24. You. Do you recognize State's 24?
Yes, these are the items that are described on line 3 of the third page of State's Exhibit 25.
Okay. Is that a receipt and then a 2-page receipt underneath that, and then the 4th page is that post-it note?
Correct.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Were there members of BCI at this search to handle electronic devices that were taken?
Correct.
Okay. And were one of the devices that you and Detective Soper were looking for were cell phones?
Yes.
Okay. When it comes to, did you seize a phone, an iPhone, that was Joe Stafford's iPhone?
Yes.
All right. Did you attempt to get Mr. Stafford to give you the code so you could download the phone there and give it right back to him?
I attempted to do that with Joe Stafford, Vince Stafford, and Ann Fantelli.
Okay. Did any of them let you do that?
Initially, they gave me the phones. I gave them to BCI. They started the work. And then a few minutes later, I don't know how many minutes, maybe 15, Joe Stafford came back, said he talked to an attorney, and he was not going to allow us to do the forensic work on the phones.
Okay.
At which time I advised him, then we'll have to take the phones in order to do the forensic work.
Right. And to be fair, that's someone's right to say, I'll give you consent to search something like this, or I won't give you consent to do that. Is that fair?
Well, we had the warrant for the phones,
Well, right.
but yeah, so in terms of unlocking them, yes, there's no problem with that.
Exactly. Unlocking is what I meant. Right.
Yeah.
And so ultimately, they declined to unlock these phones. Were they then taken and put into evidence until further searches happened?
As far as I know, I mean, I gave them to BCI then at that point.
Very good. Thank you. All right. And does that, after you seized things and you left, or did anything else occur regarding this search that, here, let me ask it this way. Did you document this search in FBI reports?
Yes, I did.
Okay. All right. Hold on, Judge. All right, nothing further, Judge, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Counsel?
Thank you. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Timeline. About what time did you arrive at the Stafford Law Office?
I believe it was around 3 o'clock.
In the afternoon?
Yes, I'm sorry.
And about what time did you actually have a signed warrant?
I actually don't remember. I was not involved at all in obtaining the warrant. I was still there at the office, maintaining the site. So I honestly don't remember that.
Do you remember meeting with Greg?
I don't know that I'd say I met with him. I did. He was there that day. Shortly after I arrived, Mr. Stafford informed me he had been fired. Mr. Moore asked me if he could go back to his office and do some work, which we weren't letting anybody do any work at that point. So he was then escorted out of the office.
And when you arrived, it wasn't a chaotic scene, was it?
Well, I'm not.
I mean, after your presence, obviously, but...
Yes, that's right. Once we were there, it was tense, I would say, right? I mean, again, we're entering a law office. They were upset about it. But prior to that, I mean, again, we walked in and shut everything down, so.
When you arrived, you didn't see people trying to destroy evidence, did you?
I don't think I witnessed anything like that, no.
You didn't see anyone shredding documents underneath a desk?
You mean like that I actually witnessed that?
Yes.
No.
When you arrived, you didn't see people changing out hard drives on computers?
I don't believe I did, no.
When you arrived, you saw what appeared to be a fairly, a law office doing law office things. And obviously the shock of law enforcement being there made it another scenario. But upon arrival, there wasn't anything unusual that you saw.
Myself, no.
So the exigent circumstance that you've testified to was something that somebody had said to you or to other people by text messages. But when you arrived, it at least didn't appear that it was going on at that time.
Well, that's a hard question to answer. You're asking what did I see, and that answer is I didn't see anything like you're describing. But this is a big law office. There were many law enforcement. I don't think anybody saw something like that happening. But yes, I think overall you're right. We're responding to what the witness had told us was happening in the law firm.
Right. Which may be different than what actually was happening. Maybe it doesn't affect the legal analysis, but just so we have a full picture. You had a good faith belief that things might be happening when you arrived. You didn't see those things happening. Is that a fair statement?
I had a good faith belief that things were happening, yes, and Correct. In live time as I was there, I didn't see what that witness had said, correct?
Now, at some point you told Greg that he was free to leave, correct?
Yes. That's the way to describe it. I mean, again, I'd been instructed that he was fired, and we weren't going to allow him back into we weren't allowing anyone back into their offices, so, yeah.
And may I approach the witness to retrieve the exhibit?
Thanks.
On State's Exhibit 25, that's the, really, all of the documents that were seized, correct? All the items seized.
I believe so. I mean, I'm not trying to play any games. Detective Soper prepared this, and then I signed it as the witness. So I believe it is all of it. But
Does it indicate when or where Mr. Moore's phone was when it was seized?
well, I can tell you from my memory, it was laying on his desk. If you're pointing to me a spot in here, I would have to take. I need a second to look. Actually, I don't see it on there.
And Greg Moore was allowed to leave before the warrant was signed, correct?
Yes.
In fact, you said to Greg, I know you have counsel, so you're free to leave. Something to that effect.
Yeah, he either told me he had counsel or I said that back to him, but that's, in essence, yeah, that's true.
And you were aware, I guess, that he had counsel at that time?
Yes.
And he asked whether or not he could take his phone, correct?
I'm not sure about that, but I think that sounds right, yeah.
And prior to the warrant being signed, you told him that you had to take the phone at this point, but that he could leave. Is that correct? Something to that effect.
I don't remember saying that, but again, generally I would say we were going to take the cell phones if the warrant was granted.
So the cell phone was forced to remain prior to the warrant, and Greg was allowed to leave. Is that a fair statement?
Yes.
Now, you saw, and the state brought it up as well, that the prosecutor's office sent over what appears to be a copy of this motion for an in-camera inspection of cell phone records, correct?
Yes.
And on the certificate of service, it says that the state sent it over was mailed on December 27th to Greg Moore, care of the Stafford Law Firm, correct?
I assume you're reading the certificate of service, but yes.
And so, not by any nefarious action of Stafford or Greg, but the prosecutor's office sent him notice that they were going to be doing an in-camera inspection of the phone records. Is that a fair statement? Is what it appears to be.
Yes, the prosecutor's office sent it over. I can't speculate as to what
Why they
Mr.
did it.
Stafford or Mr. Moore knew or didn't know.
But it wasn't anything that Moore or Stafford did to get that document. It was literally sent over to them either by mail or otherwise. by the prosecutor's office, what the certificate of service shows.
That's possible. Like I said, I don't know what led to it being sent over. I wasn't involved in the case until at least 2 months later.
It appears as if by their own volition, the prosecutor's office sent it over.
Yes, they sent it over.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not trying to play in games. Yes, they sent it over. I don't know the reasons for it.
Yeah. And I asked if I don't remember the answer. Approximately how many hours after your arrival and other law enforcement agents' arrival did a warrant actually get?
I don't know the answer to that.
When did the search begin?
I think it was, like I said, I believe we arrived there around 3 p.m. I think it was early evening. It took a while, maybe 6 or 7. That's a guess, though. I don't want to be hung up on that, but I think it was early evening.
Okay, so 3 or 4 hours. There's this time frame where you guys are there. Did any employees stick around, or did everyone leave at some point?
I know the attorneys stayed because I had some interaction with them about the phones later. I believe I let I don't believe, I know I let Mr. Stafford, Joe Stafford, meet with the employees, and then I believe he sent them all home, meaning the support employees.
Mm-hmm.
But the attorneys stayed, meaning Vince, Joe, and Ann.
And then looking at State Exhibit 24, this note that's on the back, do you know where that note was found?
All I know is from the inventory that it would appear to be on Mr. Moore's desk.
The receipt or the note?
I believe both.
Does the inventory indicate both?
It doesn't say desk, it just says his office.
Yeah.
Mr. Moore's office.
And the note says, cancel this unless Joe wants it, and therefore the connotation is we can keep it. Is that kind of what the note says? Cancel this unless Joe wants it.
Or Vince is mentioned.
Vince, I'm sorry.
Yeah, both of them are mentioned, but yes, that's
Okay.
the essence of the note.
So it's not get rid of it, it's just if someone else wants it, they can have it. It's essentially that one way of reading that.
Again, you're asking me to speculate. It just says, please cancel this service unless Joseph, J-O-S, B-A-S, Vince, want for their laptop.
Right. Do you have any sense of when that note was written?
Not from looking at it, no.
You have no other knowledge that would
No.
fill in the gaps? Okay.
No.
Just put this up here so everything's in the same place. So, do you know whether or not a subpoena for grand jury had been given to Ann prior to this?
Yes, I gave it to her the night before.
So she had that also in her possession? And so it was, you gave it to her?
Well, that was at her home, it wasn't at the office, so again, it's kind of a speculative question. I served her on the
You
evening
gave it to
before.
her.
Correct.
That was the question.
Yes.
And was there a copy of the search warrant that was sent the day before?
I'm not sure I understand. The copy of what search warrant?
At the search at the law office? In other words, has a copy of the search warrant been inadvertently provided?
To Ann Fantelli?
Oh, sorry, to the law firm.
I'm not trying to duck your question. Are you talking about this motion from January, or are you talking about the search warrant for the law office?
the search warrant for the law office, had anything from the search warrant for the law office been provided inadvertently the day before?
Not that I'm aware of.
And I know what the receipt says, and I know your recollection. If in your report you had stated that that note was on Marge's desk, the note about the cell phone, or I'm sorry, the device in Vincent Joe, do you have any memory of where that was found?
Of where this particular note on,
Yes.
and again, I'm relying on what you gave me here. We're talking about 12 years ago. If there's a 302 that will refresh my memory, I'd be glad to look at it. So,
Okay.
yeah, I mean, if it's in my 302, then from the description of the search, but I don't remember that as I sit here right now.
And then, what was your involvement in the case after this?
Lots of things. I mean, interviews, pulling records from the law office, like the login records.
Were you responsible for getting any search warrants?
I don't think so.
And you agree with me that in 2013, 2014, well, when did you stop being involved in the case?
Oof. That's kind of hard to describe. I mean, I retired in 2018. And I was interviewed by BCI, I think, in 2020. Like when you say when I stopped, like when I stopped doing what?
I guess you're still involved in the case.
Well, yeah, I mean, right? I mean, well, they gave me a subpoena, so I had to be here. But anyhow, I mean, in late 2014, I became the division counsel, so I would have been doing less than when I was assigned to the violent crime squad, but I was still involved the whole time. I testified at the grand jury several times. There were certainly meetings I had at the prosecutor's office. I know for a fact that we had a meeting in 2017 with BCI in the prosecutor's office in Cleveland, and so there are lots of things along the way to today that I was involved in.
After you testified in the grand jury, is there anything else investigative-wise that you've done in this case?
We have to narrow that down for me because I think I testified 4 times in the grand jury.
It's just, you didn't...
The last time,
So after 2016 or 2015, after your testimony, is there anything else that you did in this case?
I mean, other than meeting with BCI, I don't think so.
And that with BCI meeting was when? 23, 22?
Initially, I met with them in 2018, right after I retired.
Mm-hmm.
But then they did not take the case. And then again, I think it was 2023, but I'm not positive about that. But at some point later on, I did meet with BCI again.
How's that process work? When you say they didn't take the case, what's that mean?
Well, I don't have an exact understanding, but in order for BCI to take a case from another police department, I think they need either the chief or the mayor of that municipality to refer the case to them. They can't, BCI just can't take it on their own. They need the actual municipality to refer it to them.
In the municipality being Cleveland Police Department?
I'm sorry?
The municipality in this case being Cleveland Police?
Yes.
And in 2018, BCI didn't take the case because it wasn't referred?
I'm unclear on that. I wasn't involved in it. I got a call from BCI. I went in and talked to them, and then later they said that they were not going to, like, the appropriate letter or referral or whatever had not been signed.
Are you aware of anything occurring well, did they also, was there also investigation, I guess that was going on as related to Stafford Sherman at the time as well, correct?
Well, I investigated Stafford Sherman.
So when we're saying the investigation, it's the investigation of the Aliza Sherman homicide that involved multiple suspects. Fair?
Correct.
And when it was presented in 2018 to BCI, was it in that context?
I presented them with everything that I had done.
Greg Moore, Stafford Sherman,
Correct.
maybe some other individuals
Correct.
that were people of interest, correct?
Correct.
So fair to say between your grand jury testimony in 15 or 16 and your meeting in 18, you weren't involved in any investigative aspect of this case. Is that fair? That you can recall?
I mean, again, without going, there might have been things that came up that I would have followed through on at that time, even though I had a different title. But as I sit here without looking back through all the file and the paperwork, I can't answer. Right? I'm not trying to duck the question.
You just don't.
I don't recall as I sit here, but there may have been a thing here or there that I would have done during that period of time.
And then between 18 and 23 was the next meeting with BCI. You don't recall doing anything on this case?
No, I was retired. I was enjoying my.
That's a definite.
Yeah.
So then, and then even at that point, your meeting in 23 was simply to plug in your perceptions from 16 and 15, 14, 13.
Yeah, I was, again, to try to share with them all the things I had done from March of 14 forward.
And then, other than your testimony in the grand jury in 15 and 16, you haven't testified at all except for today. Is that a fair statement in relation to this case?
Correct.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Counsel?
Yes, thank you. Defense counsel asked you some questions about the exigency and whether that was occurring in front of you when you got there. Do you remember those questions?
Correct.
Okay. Was one of the things that was told to you and Detective Sobrick that shredding of documents was happening that day?
Yes.
All right, I'd like you to take a look at the inventory sheet. Is that still in front of you, Stacy 25?
Yes.
Please take a look at the second page. So, line 2, whose office is that?
Marjorie Thompson.
And what's the item found?
Miscellaneous shredded.
Line 5, what's the location?
The copy room.
And what's the item found?
Miscellaneous shredded.
Line 7, what's the location?
Office of Joseph Stafford.
And what was found?
Miscellaneous shredded.
Okay. So, is it fair to say, if the allegation was, hey, shredding's happening here, did you find evidence that shredding happened there, or before you got there?
Yes.
Defense counsel asked you about the electronic items that were seized. Are any of those listed in that inventory sheet in front of you?
Well, page 1 is all banker's boxes related to cases that were related to the bomb threats.
Here. If you
I'm
look
sorry.
through these pages, we don't see anything like cell phones, computers. None of that's listed in this list, is it?
No, these are all like paper type
Okay.
documents.
And you already testified that BCI was there and took custody of the electronic items.
That's correct.
So would it make sense that they may have kept their own list of stuff that they took?
Yes.
Okay. Judge, I've got what's going to be labeled State's Exhibit 33. Yeah, which witness?
Yes.
I'll show this to the court first. I'll take that. You can have this one, Judge. Let me hand you States 33. So I've handed you a 3-page document. Does that have Ohio BCI's logo on the top?
I believe so. The exhibit sticker is covering it, but
Oh,
I
you
think
can
so.
look at page 2, sorry about
Oh,
that.
yes, it does.
Okay. And is there a date and time on this inventory receipt attachment?
Yes, it's April 23rd of 2014. There's several times listed on there, but
Sure. Is the first one you see at 4:20 in the morning?
yes,
Does that sound about right for as long as you guys are there?
unfortunately, yes.
All right. So looking, does this appear to be a list of electronic items seized that day from 55 Erie View Plaza?
Yes, all 3 pages are cell phones, laptops, things of that nature,
Okay.
thumb drives.
All right. Let me ask this. In terms of, was there exigency that day to go in and make sure everyone stopped the destruction of evidence?
Yes,
Okay. In that circumstance, is someone allowed to just walk out with a cell phone and make sure law enforcement doesn't get it?
no, I would always seize it until I had the warrant and then do the search of it.
Okay. And so I'm going to refer you back to defense counsel's questions about Greg Moore's phone. When he was out of the office, he's not allowed to go back in his office and get his phone and take it with him, is he?
No,
Okay. And if you could take a look at line number 9. Is that an Apple iPhone found in Greg Moore's office?
yes, it is.
Okay. There was no BlackBerry device that was found associated with Greg Moore, was there?
Well, there is a BlackBerry.
Right? Where was that found?
That's item 10.
Yep.
That was in, it says Stafford's office, but it doesn't say which Stafford.
Okay. Fine.
There were 2 other BlackBerries. That's on page 2, item 14 and 15. One in Joseph Stafford's office, I think.
Yep.
Or wait, no, this says Joseph Stafford person. And then 15 says Vincent Stafford person.
Okay.
I think that's the only 3 that I noticed on there.
Okay. Very good. Defense counsel asked you some questions about other things you did in the investigation, right? And then asked you about Sanford Sherman. You remember your questions?
Yes,
All right. Did you play any role in the obtaining of Sanford Sherman's cell phone records, identifying his true number and obtaining the cell tower records for his phone?
yes, I did.
Okay. When you were looking at this, was there a transposed number with regard to his phone number, and the wrong records were obtained first, and then you were able to get the right records?
That's correct. The initial records I was given was Ms. Sherman's, Mr. Moore's, and then Mr. Sherman's. But as I plotted it, it kept coming up, I believe, in Streetsboro. It's been a long time since I did it. So I knew the residence address. I always try to put that on the map. And so when I'm getting all these results in Streetsboro, I'm like, this doesn't look right. And it's actually kind of these crazy conversations. I was speaking to a prosecutor and I said, I don't remember the exact numbers today, but I said something like, did you say 789? And he said, no, I said 798. And so I realized we had the wrong phone records for Mr. Sherman.
Okay.
So we then got those records, and then I did the plotting, the same plotting I did for Mr. Moore and Ms. Sherman for those records.
Right. And is your recollection that when it came to Aliza Sherman's murder, that happened at 5:23, 5:24 p.m. in front of 75 Erie View Plaza, downtown Cleveland?
Correct.
Mr. Sherman's phone, was it used? Did it receive an incoming call at 5:09 and an outgoing call at some time after 5:30?
I don't remember specifically. I think I plotted that whole day.
Sure.
So without looking at my results, I can't answer that. But I believe there were some calls in the afternoon around that time.
Do you recall where that phone was? Was it in downtown Cleveland?
It was not. It was in the vicinity of the residence, of his and Ms. Sherman's residence.
In Beechwood?
Yeah, I
If
don't
you recall.
remember. I don't remember the address, but if that's where it is,
Okay.
yes.
All right. Thank you. Let me go.
Okay. Thank you, counsel.
Thank you. Just to clarify, you said miscellaneous shredded documents, correct?
That's what's written on the form, yes.
And law offices shred documents all the time as a way of making sure that confidential information of their clients doesn't get thrown in the trash, et cetera, correct?
Yes.
And there's a science, you can kind of put that stuff back together if you feel like it's of evidentiary value, correct?
That's possible. It depends on the type of shredder. I don't want to get into a boring talk about that, but some, yes.
I guess my point is there's nothing in the shredded documents that appeared abnormal for a normal office. Is that a fair statement?
I never examined the results of those 3 pieces that we talked about there.
But to the best of your knowledge and part of your investigation, you're not aware that,
Part of my investigation, no.
and hearing other people talk about it, there wasn't anything.
I don't believe I've ever heard anyone mention that, no.
So, you are aware that Attorney Ian Friedman was involved in the case representing Greg, correct?
I did know that. I don't, if you're asking in reference to the day of the search warrant, I don't remember if that was that day, but at some point I knew that, yes.
And were you aware that he even sent a letter on February 13th to law enforcement and the prosecutors saying, I have the key to Greg's house, if you want to come, I'll let you in so you don't have to knock the door down.
February 13th of what year, sir?
2013.
No, I wasn't involved until March of 2014, so I would not have been aware of that.
And I know that your involvement ended at the time of your grand jury, give or take a few things. But as it relates to Stafford Sherman's phone, when you went back to speak with BCI people in 23, were you made aware that malware associated with Stafford had been indicated at the scene of the homicide?
No, I would only say I was sharing what I had with them. They were not sharing anything back with me. I'm retired law enforcement at that point. I'm a witness at that point. So the answer is no.
And at the time that, in 2018, Stafford Sherman had not been excluded as a possible suspect in this case. He was one of the many people that were being investigated still. Is that a fair statement?
I believe my statement would be that the entirety of the investigation needed to be completed and that everyone needed to be addressed. I think that's the fairest way to say it.
Thank you, sir.
Anything further?
That's it. Thank you.
You may step down.
Thanks, Your Honor.
Judge, can I ask one question?
Please briefly.
Yep. Thank you.
Sir, you may step down.
Oh, thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.